a looming crop pollination crisis, and it's not just honey-producing insects, but the famous bees that pollinate our food plants are slowly vanishing.
We've also demonstrated that for certain crops like pumpkins, if they're not pollinated, you'll get 0 shillings from their sale if you invested in pumpkins. In coffee, if you put bees and encourage them into your coffee gardens, you are going to get a 60% increment in yield, which will definitely translate into money. And the same goes for many other crops. We couldn't study on all crops.
That's the message to these agriculture sector stakeholders, among them line ministry officials who admit the global habitat loss is real as a result of intensive farming practices and excessive use of pesticides and changes in weather.
The other bees are more important than the honeybees, in terms of pollination. And therefore it is important that we preserve those insects. And one of the recommendations I see very important is that we really also need to conserve the habitats of these pollinating agents. Yes. So we need to see how we can work with the NEMA and work with the Wildlife Authority and these other agencies that are responsible for conservation to ensure that we identify areas for habitats, so that these pollinators are also protected, like how we are protecting these other animals.
Because our work is really among the first comprehensive studies for Uganda. So we don't have like previous information from which we can compare whether pollinators are in decline or they're increasing or not. But from our work, the future researchers will be able to assess and give us those statistics. But we assume we are not any different from what is happening in countries elsewhere, even within Africa, where pollinators are in decline.
According to bee experts for the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO of the United Nations, a third of the world's food production depends on bees.